Forget to like and subscribe. It's Jim Keller, everybody.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to a Poutine. George is back.
Hello. Sorry for not, well, yeah, last week was a bit sudden and
That's fine. I mean, I'm still eating my dinner. That's because half an hour ago I realized I hadn't eaten all day. And yeah, while I was racing to get up the stairs, knock on the door from solicitors, and by that I mean people who solicit, not lawyers.
Oh yeah, because you call solicitors lawyers there.
Well, we have two types of lawyers. We have barristers and solicitors. They're different.
Okay.
Barristers, I believe, are the ones who speak at high court, and they're typically self-employed. Solicitors are basically everyone at a big law firm.
Okay.
Right. So why do I know this? I have family members who are solicitors and partners and everything else. So it's been a really weird week. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm still getting lots of messages about Intel from last week.
Are you?
Yeah. I mean, the fact that I can post a tweet today about Intel and their whole, I covered it last week a little bit about, I think, was it Dylan Martin at CRN put out a report saying NEX,
Oh yeah,
the Network and Edge group, is being spun out / partially sold. And I was like, no, because NEX doesn't exist. And I put out a tweet like literally 2 hours ago that seems to be gaining traction that, you know, essentially just says that. So,
well, I guess the question sort of is, what do they mean by NEX?
So as far as I understand it, NEX doesn't exist. They took it off the P&L in the financials last quarter because they moved Edge to client and they moved networking to DCAI. And out of that, I'm understanding it's the telco business that might be partitioned off. You know, like a Mobileye, like an IMS.
So
Nano.
Interesting that they'd spin off. You know, with the spin-off of Altera spinning off telco actually does make sense.
I mean, telco is things like VRAN and ORAN. You know, there was some semi-custom Xeons in that market, but it's also other sort of chips and also a software-based market as well. Software-defined networking, right? SDNs. So how much of the networking business that is part of telco, normally you don't think of networking in telco, but part of networking, some of the telco specific networking IP or whatever goes will down that route. You know, it's just Intel basically saying this isn't a high margin business. Let's go deleverage the risk by letting everybody by letting somebody else take some of the risk, right? And we get to get a bit of money out of it. Because yeah, telco is unique enough, but low margin. Just because being able to stand up 5G, 6G networks or localized networks is really important. There are a lot of companies who do it. You know, UK and both the UK and the US have kicked out Huawei, for example, from the networking, but then there's Ericsson, and Ericsson leverages Intel and others to do all that sort of thing.
That's the other name that
you
recognize in that sector.
Yeah. Actually, I've still got this link in my bookmark bar. And let's see if I can find it. Yeah. Because I've used this image a few times. This is on LinkedIn, right? This is something posted November 23. It's Ericsson's newsletter, and you can see my comment here. What Intel node is that? The latest RAN compute is powered by Ericsson Silicon leveraging Intel 4.
Yeah. I think Intel announced that way back when.
So they announced that Ericsson was using Intel 4, I think, or they said a telco partner. But what Ericsson actually showed off was this image.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And that's a very Intel-looking package, by the way.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? But yeah, the RAD. So this is basically Intel spinning out a bit of telco, right? Maybe it's 10%, maybe it's 20%, maybe it's 51%. Maybe we don't know yet. But that's now an external company that can become a client of Intel Foundry.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, interesting.
But you know, it's a higher margin business for Foundry than it is for the telco business. So, or it might be Ericsson, the one that's gonna, you know, I've heard hundreds of millions of dollars being bandied around. I'm not sure whether that's the valuation of that part of the business or whether that's, you know, the investment somebody's going to make. But Red Flames, stupid questions are fine as long as they help tell a story. So, yeah. I mean, so I'm still dealing with that, to be honest. Lots of stuff flying around about that still. But in terms of topics this week, the big one I want to cover relates to the thumbnail, and it's the fact that the UK has implemented something called the Online Safety Act.
Yeah, I've been adding. The reason why I haven't been talking too much is because I've been adding links to the bar
to show off. Yeah. But yeah, no, I want to get into that because it's part of a bigger thing about access to the internet that I think we should be talking about. What did you want to talk about, George? Because I saw this and I was like, WTF?
I mean, this week, not a lot of news really ran across my desk that went, oh, big talking point needs to talk about this week. So I think this may be a more Ian-centric show. No.
The topic you've got on the dock.
Oh, I mean, my topic is, well, it's not quite this GPU, but another Chinese GPU maker.
Yeah. Yeah. It's. I hope you were able to find more information about it than I did.
I have not. So.
Okay, well, we can talk about it because a couple of people did ping me about this.
Yeah.
Interested to get your take.
I think I may know what this is.
Okay,
but,
well,
we'll get into that.
We'll get into that, yeah. And then we've got a number of tech boxes to go through at the end. Some of these are actually quite important and could be full topics on their own, but we'll at least briefly cover them. Yeah, that thing you picked up, explain to people what it is, just quickly.
So the thing I picked up, this is the More Thread MTT S80. This is a Chinese GPU based on Imagination IP. So Imagination is Power VR, for those who better know that segment or that branding.
Okay, cool. Well, with that, let's get into... Oh, let's shut my phone up.
Let's get into the news.
Into the Poutine. Oh, so, hi everyone. Welcome to the Tech Poutine, the weekly-ish podcast from the two of us, where we usually speak about processors and silicon and how we teach very special rocks to think in very special ways. We call the Tech Poutine because my name is Ian and I run a channel called Tech Potato. And my co-host, as always, is George from Chips and Cheese.
Hello there.
And if we had a guest, there'd be the gravy, thus making a lovely poutine. We don't have any gravy this week. Also, if we had a sponsor, here's where we might put it. But as we don't, it's just us. If you do wish to sponsor the show, do let us know. We do accept and read super chats made by our listeners and watchers, but only if they don't demonetize the channel. And we usually stick around for a good couple of hours speaking about silicon and other stuff in the ecosystem. And we'll get around to the Q&A. But today's first question, as always, is George. How are you doing?
Decently enough.
How's work?
Holding up. It's work.
But you get to speak and talk about silicon and chips and how they work. Isn't that why you do it? Or is it just a job?
Yes. No. I mean, it is very much passion. Just that this week has had some
personal
stuff. Though last week the reason why I missed was because we went a couple old high school friends who were down for San Diego Comic-Con decided to go to the movies to go watch the How to Train Your Dragon live action movie. And then we went and had dinner after they came back from San Diego. So,
first topic we should cover is because last week. Ooh, what was that? Oh, you just turned your microphone off. Hello, Beulah. Hello. I think you may have slightly pulled it out. The thing is, I need George for this bit.
Am I good now?
There you go.
There we go.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
Sorry about
it's all right. It's all right. I turned you up on the back end, so.
Okay. I was told I was quiet, so I was trying to move my mic forward.
And you pulled it out. So, before we get into the main topics, last week, as George said, he was unavailable. I went through all the stuff about Intel and the Node news and all the stuff that came out of the financials. And I know George has been thinking about it and reading about it. So just want to get your quick take.
So I think the thing that shocked me was the 10Q. Specifically the section that talked about 14 nanometer. Now I know that the 10Q is, sorry, not 14A, excuse me. Now I know that the 10Q is a financial document, and really what it's about is the worst case scenario for Intel. But page 26 of the 10Q talked about Intel potentially not being able to make 14A, which I don't think has ever been in an Intel 10Q before.
Would it shock you if I said it has?
It would, because I've never seen it. Granted, I've not gone through every single Intel 10Q ever.
So pretty much every 10Q has had wording that basically says, if we don't make money on this, we won't do it, or we'll have to shut it down, or if the market economics changes. The only perhaps slight difference here is that because Intel's defining 14A as a part customer funded as a requirement node. Thing is, TSMC has the same wording in its equivalent. I'm not sure if they actually have an equivalent, but they would do. Same as Samsung would, same as Global Foundries would, same as and arguably that's what was said on the financial call anyway, without needing to go into the 10Q. Well, my argument being that the 10Q didn't say anything new, and for some reason people pulled it as new. And I get why. It's not everybody listens to the financial call or the prepared remarks or anything. Do they even put the prepared remarks? Did you read Lip-Bu's letter to the employees?
Yes, I did.
That is now my best performing article on my Substack ever. and all I did was paste Lip-Bu's words.
That's funny.
It'd been up 2 minutes, and I got a message from one of my contacts at Intel saying, "Hey, why did you put this up? It's meant to be confidential." And I went, "It's on the newsroom." And they went, "Oh, my bad."
Yeah, this was published publicly.
Okay, so the fact that, you know, in a lot of people's view, this means that 14A could potentially not happen. Thoughts?
So in that section of the 10Q that I'm referencing, it also talks about using 18A-P, which is the evolution of 18A. Think of it as a plus up until 2030 for products. So
on the call, they said peak 18A, the family of 18A, so A and AP. Intel don't do a good job distinguishing between the family versus the node, but either way, they said the family will reach peak volume basically next decade.
Interesting.
Argument being, the first wave or the second wave will be fully Intel products with some customer. And then over time, customers will see that it is a trusted, high-yield process that they will leverage for their N or N-1 or N-2 products.
Because I know for we had this discussion, at least in private, where Intel was really targeting customers not to 18A, but to 18A-P, largely being because that will allow for mature tools and IP on that family of nodes.
The process development kit will be more mature. People will be able to trust their simulations before. Yeah, no, I said as much after Direct Connect on a Poutine. But yeah, and if I can pull up this, do I have the latest numbers? Oh, now it's loading up. Different desktop for me. How long do you think it is between a new node coming online and it becoming the most important node?
Well, considering that Intel 7 is still capacity constrained, quite a while in this market, at least.
Let me.
Now, previously, you would usually transition nodes. Your most important node would be essentially 2 to 3 years after, at least for Intel. I'm thinking sort of in the prior sort of Sandy Bridge, the TikTok era. Basically, every 18 to 24 months, you would transition to the new node as your primary node.
So hopefully this is coming through, but this is TSMC process node by revenue. And we can't really see for 16, but 16 had its highest revenue. It was TSMC's major node in the third quarter of 2016. Then obviously we had 10 meter come out. That technically became the biggest node 2 quarters after revenue, but then obviously failed pretty quickly. 7 nanometer arrived for revenue in the third quarter of 2018, and it became the highest revenue node 1 quarter later. But it's still not the highest volume node, right? Because the wafers, cost per wafer is still. TSMC still makes 3/4 of its wafers on 16 nanometer and below. Right. So if we look at 5 nanometer, right, that came out in the third quarter of 2020. It wasn't until the third quarter of 2022, so what's that, 2 years?
Roughly.
It was the highest revenue node.
And then for
but
3
if you,
nanometer, it's still not the highest.
I haven't got the second quarter numbers in here. They came out last week. I haven't got them in. But what I'm showing is that it's taking longer and longer and longer for the latest node to be the highest revenue node. Right? What used to take 1 or 2 quarters, again, it depends on how crap the one before it was, for it to be the high. Yeah, so Intel's basically saying, look, we're deploying 18A for revenue in what? Essentially Q1, right? Even though it's going to be some Q4, it's realistically going to be Q1. It's going to hit peak in 4 years for a leading edge node.
That sounds...
doesn't sound unreasonable, does it, for how complex this technology is?
No, and especially because, especially if Intel believes that they're going to have, because for TSMC's main customer for its early nodes historically has been Apple. Apple has gotten first pick and they've helped with development. Whereas for Intel, you can sort of think of Intel product as that
lead customer
for Intel Foundry. Yes, they're both Intel, but they're effectively 2 businesses under one umbrella.
Yeah. Welcome to the conglomerate.
Yeah. So for a external customer, like look at AMD and N5. AMD transitioned to N5 in Q3 22 or Q4 22, when Zen 4 launched. Apple was launching N5 silicon back in, I want to say,
wait,
like
did you say third quarter of 24?
Third quarter 22 for 5 nanometer.
Yeah, so that, it'd already been out 2 years at that point.
Yeah,
or almost 2 years.
So if you think of Intel product as the analogy to Apple here, then for a customer to go,
and that's on a trusted
Q1,
that's a trusted external foundry or trusted foundry with a customer who trusts them, 2 years.
Yeah. And granted, AMD seems to be ahead of the curve for N2, but that's probably more a statement on AMD than a statement on TSMC and how most partners interact with their nodes. So
also AMD's compute chiplet is simpler than Apple's SoC.
Yeah, this is true.
Especially when Apple starts putting modems in it.
Oh yeah, modems are, my head just boggles.
Anything else from the on the Intel announcement?
Not really. I think we've said all that really can be said. And
the employees,
that I will say that a dip of about what 35-40% of your workforce in 2 years sounds like 50, a death nail. Sounds like a death nail. I don't know many companies that have recovered from that level of layoffs before.
Don't you mean a death knell?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you said nail.
I said death nail.
KNELL, Nell.
Yeah.
Okay. So in your accent, it sounds like you're saying nail.
No, not nail as in a hammer.
Yeah, I was just making sure.
Kneel, death kneel.
No.
Just, yeah, KNEEF.
No, ELL.
ELL.
Like
Sorry.
it's like a death bell, a death knell.
Oh, I'm thinking like you're kneeling, like it's your final kneel and you're about to keel over. Because that's also something I've heard, as well as death nail. So
I was going to make about the joke about Simpsons and Bart being in a church and a priest walking by. No, okay. So Bart was reading somebody's diary, and Milhouse said that you're reading somebody else's diary. That's the worst thing you can do in a church. And then the priest comes by saying, "No, it's not." And then, like 30 seconds later, he's being taken away by police. The priest. And this is in a Simpsons episode. And I'm like,
of
what
course,
the hell?
Simpsons. Yeah.
It's, if anybody's wondering, it's like season 32, episode 16 or 12 or something. I do want to, well, in that, let me bring up this graph. Share this screen. So this is the employee count. Yeah, so they're going to be below TSMC by the end of the year. About 4,000 of that should be Altera, they say. So, yeah.
So,
yeah.
The only company that I know of that's suffered a loss of this number of people.
Enron, Xerox,
Sears. If you're talking legitimate companies, Sears, and
okay.
they went belly up.
Sears, for the non-Americans, is a giant US retailer.
Was a giant US retailer.
Oh, do they not exist anymore?
They technically exist as a name, but the original company, Sears Holding, went bankrupt in 2018.
Yeah, it's so we have an equivalent of the Sears catalog in the UK. It's called the Argos catalog. Laminated Book of Dreams. To quote Susie Izzard. That's a great skit if anybody sees it online. Yeah, and did you also happen to catch the AI action plan?
I did.
I didn't really cover it on the Poutine.
I think the highlight of that was sort of the engagement to, or the what's the word I'm looking for?
Commitment.
Thank you. Commitment to the CHIPS Act in Pillar 2. I personally found that quite funny.
I found it funny that they said we want to reinvigorate American semiconductor manufacturing. AMD was there, or Lisa was there, Jensen was there, Lip-Bu was not. So, though apparently some of the CHIPS Act money Intel has, or a good chunk of it, is milestone based. And apparently Intel hit a milestone in the last quarter, and so they're due for some. I think it's like 800 million or so, the next batch of CHIPS Act money for them. So they may lose some because they're slowing down Ohio, but other stuff like the Ramp C project is still going ahead. So, okay, so with that, let's actually move into the main topic I wanted to speak about, and it is this thing, this very verboten thing. This applies, I think, based on the audience, mostly to me. And the UK has now implemented the Online Safety Act 2023, which, even though it says 2023, it's actually it came into force 2 days ago. And the long and short of it is, it's many things, right? Service, users, duties of care. It's all to do with being able to have access to content. Now, some of that is illegal content, right? Don't go looking up how to make weapons and explosives, unless you just happen to be a chemist working in that field or whatever. The other thing is providing or restricting access to materials based on age, such that, and places like I think Texas and Florida already have this to a certain degree, having restrictions based on age that you can only bypass by providing ID.
So yes, so a big issue that places like, so a large part of the bills in Texas, Florida, and the rest of the states in the US, mind you, there's no federal bill
Sure.
with regards to this in the US at the moment. But that has to do with corn. Let's say corn.
Linux. It's to do with Linux.
Yes. And preventing children from being able to see
Linux.
Corn.
The code word is Linux. Let's keep saying Linux.
Linux, yes. And
yeah, so it's similar thing in the UK, right? All the Linux related websites now have to have age verification checks, right? There's all the popular Linux distro hubs. Let's just say Linux Hub, for example, being the biggest one. The problem is the Act doesn't do a good job about accurately defining what type of Linux.
They both have Schmide in the chat. They both have kernels. Yes, they do. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's two things here. One is on the content side. One is on the verification side. On the content side, it means that websites related to sensitive topics like mental health, self-harm, sexual health, such as people that might be transitioning or dealing with sexual related illnesses or Linux related illnesses, or medical content that may be graphic, or addiction assistance and helplines, whether that's drug, Linux, or something else. And if you have a Linux addiction, you should really seek help. All of the websites that are doing this or have access to this type of content are now being age gated or age verification gated. And this is extended to things like subreddits and forums where this is a topic of conversation. So I fully expect at some point the section of Mumsnet that deals with any of this, if they want to speak about their children who may, or children or adult children who may be suffering from Linux addiction or anything else, that will now be age gated because the law is not specific enough.
And as much as I don't,
podcasts that speak about Linux.
Well, not just that. In theory, we could be.
Yes.
Because we talk about what could be argued as sensitive topics, even though.
And I try not to speak about Linux at the best of times. But yes.
But yeah, so. And this is in the questions, and to me, as much as I don't like the laws in Florida and Texas and how easily they are very easily gotten around. like VPNs.
So
This
I'll get
stuff
to that
is-
in a second.
Yes, but I think this is very much a sort of slippery slope, and could potentially, and actually, I will go as far as to say will likely prevent good discussion and potentially people from getting help that
Yes.
need help. So it's damaging. It's a lot
But
more
won't
damaging
somebody
than
think
it
of
is
the
helping.
children? Won't somebody think of the children? To
In
refer
all
back to The
reality,
Simpsons again.
if a 14-year-old wants to watch Linux on the internet, they're going to be able to do it.
Well,
They're going to be tech savvy enough to get around it.
So, of course, as you imagine, lots of things have gone online of how do you bypass these age restriction checks, and VPNs obviously being the obvious one. So in the UK, we all the ISPs essentially do a blanket ban on the Pirate Bay. Right?
Yeah.
That is locked off at the state level. So there have been reports of some ISPs blocking access to VPNs, like NordVPN or PIA or whatever, to block, to even so people can't access VPNs to bypass the checks. With one of our members of parliament going on TV basically saying, every time you bypass one of the security checks, you're endangering children.
Oh, come on.
So
yeah, that and I know, so
so there's more to this, right? So in the UK, we have a procedure whereby the government has a petition website, and if any petition gets over 100,000 signatures,
it's in the doc.
It's meant to be debated. Let me. Yeah. When I saw it, it had 370,000. It's now almost at 500,000. Right. And so normally you get 100,000, it gets scheduled for a debate in, say, 3 weeks, a month, because they usually super slow on these things. The government responded almost immediately, 2 days before it was even put into action, saying, we're not going to debate this because the Safety Act has passed already and it's up to the regulator to enforce it.
But, okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. Isn't it Parliament's job to deal with this, to deal with laws?
Yes, but their response is, well, the act was already passed.
You can always, I don't know, repeal the act.
Yes, but but won't somebody think of the children? Yeah.
So
so they won't debate it because the government has no plans to repeal it and is working closely with the regulator called Ofcom to implement it as quickly and effectively as possible, so that children can't access Linux. There's a couple more issues here, right? Let's see. One of the issues is that it's the same thing that, again, states like Texas and Florida have found, is that the age verification of these systems is a black box. You don't know the third party who your identification is being sent to. So you don't know if that information goes beyond the place it's being sent to. You don't know whether it's kept for marketing purposes or for anything else. They say it's been deleted, but how many times have we seen situations where people say, oh, the data's been deleted, then it turns out it stayed in a cache somewhere and been extracted, or it actually was saved, but in the audit they said it wasn't, but it actually is, and then it's been leaked. Not only that, it's, you know, so some of it, the UK doesn't have something as super sensitive like social security number, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the US, like, give nobody your social security number unless you absolutely have to. In the UK, we don't actually have anything like that. We have something called a national insurance number, but that's just something so you can pay tax. It's not something that if somebody uses is going to fuck you up. Excuse the language. But there have been ways to get around the age verification. Some people have used SpongeBob's ID that you can find online, or just look up UK online ID and submit that.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these systems apparently require you to show your face and then open your mouth and then close it. So they've been using Death Stranding 2 or something, their character creation, where you can open the mouth on the character. And that passes the check. But also, even if you were to trust the platform, it de-anonymizes you.
Yeah.
In the same way that we're having trouble in US states now, where female reproductive health, right? They suggest if you live in these states, don't use electronic trackers because they could be used against you in a court of law because you're tracking your cycle or your health. Now, if you want to access Linux online, you have to de-anonymize yourself. So you can now be I mean, it's you know, they say if you use a Linux website, don't create an account. What you're effectively doing is creating an account, because now you can be tracked even if they say you don't. But the same thing goes for, again, mental health or psychological issues, or sexual health. If you're in a situation like an unsafe situation and you need assistance, or you need to find assistance, and the act of you searching for that information will cause your situation to be worse, you don't want to be identified in that. And by providing your ID, you are de-anonymizing yourself. Now, it may not be to the person who could make your situation worse, but if we go, 1984, Handmaid's Tale, slippery slope,
and
it's a problem. So one way people have been getting around it is by creating an ID of our prime minister and then using it to look at some really dodgy Linux sites like Arch or Mint.
No, the real dodgy stuff is Kali Linux.
But we're now in a system whereby, like I say, part of it is just simply overreach. Spotify being under age verification. Microsoft has said the Xbox may come under age verification as well. So in chat, GreenProtagonist, thank you for the $10. I feel like there's external motivation lobbying to increase data harvesting and civilian tracking when it comes to these age verifications. It feels like a trade for liberty, a trade of liberty for security. And as an American, I greatly value my First Amendment rights. And I do believe that this is a trade of freedom of expression. And would I go so far as to say an impingement on the freedom of speech if this was to be implemented in the US? Personally, yeah, I would. It depends whether freedom of speech also includes the freedom to be anonymous.
I believe in times look at the Federalist Papers, at least for here in the US.
Yeah.
When they were originally published, they were oftentimes anonymous or they used pseudonyms.
So there is one thing around this. You can libel somebody who is anonymous.
Yes.
Because in order to sue somebody for libel, you have to de-anonymize yourself. So, yeah, the right to be anonymous, but you also lose some potential protections. I mean, people are pointing at things that are already limited access to, things like explosive making content, or in some circumstances, weapon-related content or nuclear-related content, things that actually harm national security.
There's a very fine line between
national security and Linux.
Well, no, I was going to say, because that is arguments via security through obscurity.
Yeah.
No, security through obscurity. And that's not how you do things. Because you can get information.
It's, yeah. So on top of all this, just making sure we're hitting a lot of the key points here. Slightly extended, Australia, and this is another argument into this. Australia is set to ban under 16s from social media. I mean, in most jurisdictions, we already have a ban on under 13s, right?
But it doesn't work.
So this is the thing. I believe that the Australian solution is to be a bit more heavy-handed. And I've been looking at a little bit of this about the commentary around it, especially from the radio presenters here. And there seems to be a bit of confusion about access to social media versus just access to the internet in general. So, and also, what do you classify? In the same way, what do you classify as Linux, or what do you classify as mental or sexual health, or addicted or addiction advice, versus what do you classify as social media, right? Is social media any platform where you can engage other people? Well, then any news website with a comment section counts as social media, because you have to create an account and talk. YouTube is social media. Is Snapchat social media? Right? Instagram and Facebook, okay. Is WhatsApp social media? Does social media have to have an external component in order to enable it? Are forums social media? So their argument being kids can learn without the need of social media. And a lot of people are saying, well, what if I give my child a tablet or whatever? Does that mean if they try and access Facebook, is it, are you going to be the one, am I going to be the one that's charged? Just because my child goes to Facebook, you know? And then the check. And then one other thing is that once you hit 16 and you get access to it, then suddenly the world is your oyster, and you can go into the depths of Andrew Tate, or Linux, or anything else.
I'm going to read. Thank you, Schmidt, for the $10 super chat. SSN in the US, the first 3 digits are where you were born. The next 3 are unknown, and the last 3 are commonly typed for verification and who you are. Although that doesn't sound right to me.
Isn't like one of the numbers of verification like on a?
So it's 324 for social. It's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So or 1 2 3 dash 4 5 6 dash 7 8 9 or 6 7 8 9. So it's 9 digits, but it's not a 333.
Yeah, Power666 says, is Wikipedia social media because anybody can edit articles? By the loosest definition, yes.
Yes. Technically, this comment section is social media.
Well, yeah, YouTube would class. Again, there are lots of, on the stuff that I was reading and listening to, you know, it was a phone-in radio show. People were saying, you know, if I give my kid YouTube to watch, and then there was confusion. Well, is YouTube social media? Because most old people don't consider it social media. Yet by
I don't
any
consider it social media. media.
But you have to create an account if you want to engage with someone.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And Red Flame says some news websites have just completely turned off comments permanently now.
I don't blame them.
Because the US has something called Section 230, whereby sites that allow you to post content aren't responsible for the content you post. But under acts like this, they would be. I mean, take Twitter or X, for example, right? Lots of people post Linux on there, right? It can be underneath a safe search filter, but name a 15-year-old boy who would turn that filter off given half a chance, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean,
now,
there's the whole joke of safe search off.
yes,
right? Like there's a whole YouTube video like joke meme about it.
So is Twitter now going to be age verified? I'm trying to think. The only thing I've ever uploaded my ID to is a government website.
So I think I've uploaded my driver's license,
Which counts as an ID.
So no, actually I'm misremembering. I've uploaded my passport not to the US government, but for
a visa application.
No. Computex. They require you to send your an image of national ID.
I thought it was just business card. I'm getting
Wait,
a big shake of the head.
Who am I remembering as?
But okay, but going to a trade show in the list of things you want to be de-anonymized for is very like, low on the, especially because you're going there for work.
Yeah.
Now, admittedly, should you be using your personal ID for a work thing is another argument you could make down here. But yeah, I guess in that situations, I've uploaded it for work purposes of not, or the government. I don't think I've ever uploaded it for personal. Whether it's a driving license or what have you. Yeah. You have to do it to get verified on LinkedIn. And actually now I changed phones, right? I've moved to the Find X8 Pro. I downloaded LinkedIn on there and it says, we have noticed some strange attempts for your LinkedIn login. Please verify who you are in order to be able to log in by uploading a photo of your ID. I don't want to do that, even though LinkedIn is a platform I use, because I don't know where the ID is going to.
Yeah, you can take that LinkedIn and shove it where the sun don't shine.
It's like LinkedIn these days is my main source of Linux.
And hot takes too, because there's some very spicy takes.
Yeah. It's, I mean, the EU does have GDPR. But GDPR is just, do you consent to cookies? Which is a, but the thing is, that's not direct proof of personage.
Yeah, that's
right. That's an IP. Everybody in my house has the same IP. Right. And ID is ID. Again, if everybody's uploading SpongeBob from Bikini Bottom everywhere, but then I haven't read through enough of the Online Safety Act. You know, is that technically a criminal offense to misrepresent yourself? Because if it's not, then this law has no legs, aside from being a pain in the butt for people who need to access, again, mental health, sexual health, addiction health, not only Linux, right? So
And I mean, the thing is that, so sort of the last word on privacy here. For any of the Americans out there, you know the Fourth Amendment, the right to prohibit unlawful searches and seizures. Well, that right has origins in English legal doctrine. So I personally feel as if you should be allowed to be anonymous if you want to be on the internet,
except to the government. Except when obtaining government services.
Yeah, that's okay. If you need to, if I need to go order a passport, sure.
Yes. Or a driver's license.
Or a driver's license. Like
or claim Social Security. Or claim Medicaid.
Arguably, I can go to a building and go do that in person. But
yes.
If I'm just scrolling YouTube, nobody needs to know what I'm watching.
It's so I was thinking about how many people are scientifically literate in the UK Parliament. Now, the UK Parliament has 650 seats. Sinn Féin don't take theirs, so there's actually about 636 sitting MPs. Obviously, the AI overview says there are 103 with a STEM background or no interest. I didn't say interest. I said how many graduates. The LSE says in the 15-17 Parliament, only 17% had degrees in STEM subjects. The thing is, a lot of these people are 40, 50, 60 who may have never implemented their STEM degree. Most of them are philosophy, politics, economics, funnily enough. So it's you would always hope that there'd be somebody on this committee drafting this law with an ounce of sense of how it would be perceived and applied. And realistically, some of this stuff is written by the quangos, is written by the think tanks, and then just given the rough polish and sign off. There's probably, that's just STEM. But yeah, it's and yes, okay, as our friend Circuit Rewind says, lots of STEM people don't have degrees, but you've been working in the STEM industry. In a STEM industry, most of the people who are members of parliament have been in politics since the age of 25, 30. Maybe they, Margaret Thatcher spent some years in a chemistry research lab. I believe she was actually part of the team behind Mr. Whippy ice cream.
Today I learned.
But is she one of the most hated British prime ministers of all time? Yeah. So it's not a catch-all. I'm just doing this to at least bring some semblance to people understanding how the internet works. And we've all seen the videos of US senators asking,
don't remind me,
asking Sundar Pichai if their iPhone can contact North Korea. And Sundar's basically saying, I don't know, have you set it up that way?
Yeah.
Also, iPhone, I'm Google guy. You think we're all the same? And the answer is yes, they really do.
No, they aren't. So before we move into the mid-rolls sponsor spot, I do want to make one. Yeah, the internet is a series of tubes. Speaking of forums, did you see that the Anandtech homepage? If you type in Anandtech, it just goes straight to the forums now? The homepage is no longer there?
I did not. When did that change
happened
today?
It looks like it happened either this morning or this last night.
They said a year. It's been 11 months. I literally only used it 2 days ago.
Yeah, but if you go to Anandtech, it's goes straight to the forums.
I did, yeah.
There is a archive on the Internet Archive of Anandtech, but yeah, I guess that really does just.
Oh, it looks like I need to make another video.
Yep.
I
guess that's the formal end.
So okay, this is stupid. I got to show this, right? Share screen. Okay, so this is the Anandtech forums. It's a place I never really went into. As you can see, I'm not even logged in. And okay, I've not got an ad blocker or anything. I raw dog the internet when I want to watch my Linux. And I go down and okay, it's new posts today, Thursday, yesterday, what have you. So it's active. Advert. But then the next thing is MediaTek announces Dimensity 1000 plus SoC at Anandtech.
Click it. Does it go anywhere?
Nope, no. Go straight to the forum.
That's good job, Future. Good job.
Yeah. Future know how to run a tech website, at least into the ground. What a joke. What a joke. I knew it was going to happen. That's why I told everybody to go bookmark it and back it up. So, yeah, I'm not sure the last time I pulled all my articles down. I'm perhaps still missing the latest. I don't need them. Then again, I think I said this last week. The amount of people I'm meeting who only know me through YouTube now, it's getting bigger. I actually had a really interesting briefing today of something I can't talk about until next week. But the person's like, "Oh, I did some research on you and saw your YouTube channel and stuff." Now I get it. I'm not known enough in lots of tech circles, and that's fine. I've no problem with that. And yeah, I should be thankful that arguably they're seeing my most up-to-date stuff. Little bit. I did some of my best work on Anandtech, and that wasn't seen. So, yeah. But let's go into the mid-roll, shall we? So we're going to take a minute here to talk about our sponsors and the ways you can support us. There are no sponsors. Again, it's just us. So you get to spend a couple of minutes of us talking about how you can support. George, how can we support you?
Go read our articles on chipsandcheese.com or watch videos at Chips and Cheese CC on YouTube. And we have Patreon and PayPal and all that good stuff if you want to donate to Chips and Cheese.
Are you prepping a bunch of stuff for Hot Chips?
Yeah, that's I think for Hot Chips, we're gonna have immediately written articles that essentially sort of echoing, ironically enough, what Anandtech did for Hot Chips is sort of a not quite live coverage, but very close. Very close, similar idea, as well as doing essentially videos for the session. So I'll probably do like a video for the CPU session, the GPU session, and the networking session, et cetera, et cetera.
Recaps.
So, yes.
Session recaps, cool. And yeah. So for me, obviously, all you lovely people do subscribe anyway, most of you, and click the bell for notifications. We've got some really cool videos coming out. We're actually going to be in the studio 2 days next week, filming more the AI hardware show. And it's really annoying because I got an email just during the Poutine already with one of the companies we have to update in the in the AI hardware show, which is fun. But no, we're gonna Sally, Dom, and I are gonna be filming lots of podcast chat stuff about AI hardware next week. But yes, I also have my Substack, More Than More. Just go Google it and you'll find it. We're right in the middle of financial season right now, so we just had Intel and ARM. We've got AMD next week, and we may do a few others as well. And then, yeah, you've also got the shop at shop.techtechpotato.com. The usual stuff. We've got some ideas for some new merchandise. We're still working on finalizing those. But yeah, t-shirts that this keynote could have been an email, whether you want it on the front or the back, depending on whether you want your CEO to see it as you see in your Zoom meeting. Again, I'll say it every week, but the yield at white die size t-shirt is actually getting really good reception.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, and mugs are always cool. And the stickers are going well. But we'll have some more stuff for that soon, I believe. But yeah, no, my day job is consultant, and I'm actually getting a few new clients, some of whom I forgot I even spoke about. I got an email this week from somebody I spoke to like 2 months ago. And it's like, oh yeah, I did actually pitch my services to you, and now you want to sign a contract. Sweet. And it's like, oh yeah. Yeah, I just have to remember to invoice everyone. And yeah, we got so much video content going on, and so much stuff coming up, especially between Hot Chips and September. I may be on the lookout for a second video editor because so much stuff needs to be done. Got some actually during Hot Chips week. We've got some really interesting interviews planned.
So speaking of that, I've reached out for Hot Chips interviews, and I've gotten nothing back.
Also, my interviews aren't anything to do with Hot Chips. They just happen to be people that I'm in the area for.
Oh, well, then.
Yeah.
Actually, so quick note about Hot Chips. I decided to take Amtrak up.
San Diego to
LA, because I can take the train from Paris South, Metrolink on up to LA Union, and then from Union go up to San Jose.
Make sure you go back up in case it's 7 hours late.
And if it's 7 hours late, that actually is fine.
John from Asianometry is going to be there.
Okay.
Day 2. He won't be there day 1. He lands the evening of day 1, but he'll be there. And so will a bunch of our friends and the people who we normally speak to. Okay. Let's go into the second topic. George, go ahead, because I really want to hear a lot more about this. I'll bring up a website.
So the second topic, hold on, let me pull up something real quick because it's going to become relevant in a moment. But there we go. Okay, well, sure, whatever. Be weird, internet. So,
it sounds like you need to verify your age to look at your Linux.
Well, apparently, a certain website that I frequent is down for
Anandtech.com.
Cool. Not Anandtech, but so a new GPU out of China, the Lisuan. That's how I want to pronounce it, but I don't know if that's right.
Lisuan. Actually, hang on. Let's do the. Do I have audio in this tab? Let me double check. See if I do. Oh, yeah, share tab audio.
Lisuan Technology.
Lisuan科技第
Lisuan.
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 So Li Swan, as in the tones are both. I think that's tone 3. Li Swan.
Lisuan. That's. I'm
No,
not
that's
very
what I
good
mean.
at tones and tonal stuff. Unfortunately.
So Li Swan.
Lisuan announced a new GPU that they are claiming is entirely in-house. But what does that actually mean? Who knows at this point in time? So the GPU is named the 7G100, specifically the 7G100, the 106 actually. So the die is the 106, but the series is the G100. So the G106 die, if you could go back to the Tech Power Up article, that would be, because it gives it here. The 24. So I don't actually think they announced what node, as in whose node they're using. It's suspected that it's TSMC, but it may be SMIC and +2. Not positive. I've not had a lot of time to track down and sort of figure out more information about this than, because this news is fairly new. But as you can see, the GPU has throughput of 24 teraflops of FP32. And then it supports FP32, INT32, INT8, and then FP16. Let's see, do they give a better breakdown of the data types?
No.
No, they don't. I'm assuming that FP16 is supported. It would only make sense for it to be supported. But it also has a 192-bit memory bus using GDDR6, has 192 texture mapping units and 96 ROPs. So if you want more information, the Tech Power Up article actually does a pretty good job of summarizing all of this. But I have a sneaking suspicion that this is using Imagination IP. What do you think?
So it sounds like they actually had somebody on the ground at the announcement. WCCF Tech has tested it, or they've
funny.
commissioned testing from WCCF Tech.
That's so. What you're saying is, I need to go see if I can get a GPU from them.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, so you're familiar with the Power VR Imagination architecture, and I am. Do they talk about SMUs and ROPs in that way?
They do. Well, at least they did. So I'm going to reference this again because we know that this is actually AMD IP.
The more threads GPU.
Yeah. So to take a little bit of a step back, all of the Chinese GPUs I know of and/or have tested, with the exception being Longsoon's new GPU, has been based on either AMD, older AMD IP, IMG IP, or S3 IP. from way back when.
Well, I have an S3 an S3 Verge on my wall over there.
But yeah,
They received their A0 chip on May 24th. I want to disagree there. Week 23 of 2025. So the reason I can tell the date is here it says 2523.
Mm-hmm.
Week 23 is first week of June. So a month ago. They literally had their A0 silicon a month ago. I should point out the original article on Weixin says samples are expected to be delivered in August and mass production in September 2025. So if they've got A0 silicon back from the fab and working, that's really impressive. I will say this though, if I go back to this tab, it says 252301. 01 could be the first day of that week, or it could be the silicon. But the thing is, you'd expect it to start from 00, so this would technically be A1 or B0 silicon. Tech Power Up says it's A0, so and it's also point out that there, you may have seen me flicking through the slides. There are technically two GPUs that they have. They've got the G106, which is the one we've discussed, the one with 12 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory. It's a PCIe 4 by 16 face. It supports FreeSync, and it has 4 display ports, DirectX 12, the usual stuff, and it's in this sort of form factor. They've also got a 7G105 with 24 gigabytes of GDDR6 instead. This is the one that's at 24 teraflops. They also cite here, they don't cite HEVC 8K. They support 16 lots of 1080p. So this might be more like a video encoder decoder card, not a gaming card.
Yeah, that reads more like a workstation card for
a form. Yeah, that
format. For AI. Like
yeah. But this is a different is it a different chip?
It doesn't read like a different chip.
No. Here's a more in line. This guy here is holding 2 cards and a chip in the air, and we saw a bunch of these chips. These are all just the 106s. Some of these are 2519. For reference, week 19 is May 5th. So that's where the May 5th comes from.
If you could go back to the image of the die next to on the GPU.
Yeah. Back up here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 phase, or 8 plus 2. Maximum power draw of 225. We calculate 75 from the watt and 150.
That's a
6-bit. Yeah, okay. So 675 watt GPU. No.
So based on what I was doing over here on my second monitor was looking up the package dimensions of G6, and that is 12 by 14 millimeter. That die looks by my eye to be, I'm going to say roughly 18 by, it's fairly square. I'm going to say 18 by 17. So roughly about a 350 mil square die, give or take, considering that I'm just doing this by my eyes. But this thing, back to the Morse thread, because the Morse thread MTTS80 was the first big Chinese GPU that was targeted to gaming. And still to this day, the drivers are great. And I suspect that they're probably going to run into similar issues with drivers. And mind you, this is using essentially Imagination's own driver stack.
Well, this is the thing, right? The only time where we've seen a chip company use somebody else's graphics IP is when people either use an ARM or they use Imagination. Most of ARM's, everybody, how many people use ARM's GPU drivers raw versus modified? So a lot of the smartphone vendors, Oppo, even Huawei to a certain degree, and Samsung, whatever, they have lots of features that get put on top of ARM's driver stack. Things like GPU turbo or power management and memory management features that all work in that in-between layer.
So
new companies that come along and license somebody else's IP or even build their own, unless they use standards like FreeSync, they probably have to use open standards for upscaling technology and what have you as well. They have to put in the effort of building optimized driver stack for the last 10 years of games and the next 10 years of games. Right, and that's difficult. We've seen Intel is getting there a lot slower than people would have liked, but in some circumstances a lot faster than I thought. Right.
You think faster than you thought.
It's well, so again, if you launch a new GPU today, you do what Intel did and focus on DirectX 12. But then people turn around and say, well, what about all my DirectX 9 games that you're having to use in a converter?
So in terms of gaming GPUs, yes, keeping the driver stack up to date and running is no easy feat. But I just sent you something in the Tech Poutine chat, Discord chat. There is sort of a different, how do I put this? Compute GPUs are a little bit more different. And we're going to be referencing a company that you guys have probably heard of for this, Hygon. Hygon referenced AMD GPU IP for their DCU architectures. And now the predecessor to Z100 and Z100 both are GFX 906, which for those who know, that's Vega 20. However, GFX 926, 928, and 936 are not AMD GFX numbers. There's no equivalent arch for those numbers from AMD.
So AMD's history with Hygon has been an interesting one. They licensed their Zen 1 architecture, but only with modifications through a joint venture, which is mostly AMD owned. That license is still in effect. It's still Zen 1.
But so, didn't the US government sanction Hygon?
They didn't. So they sanctioned Hygon. They didn't sanction the joint venture. if I remember correctly. Or it's to the point now where Hygon is now on its 3rd or 4th generation of CPU. That's iterated on the same Zen 1 design.
So actually, supposedly, their Gen 4, so their Gen 4, the Hygon 7400 series supposedly uses their own core, but from what's been known, there's nothing super new about it. However, the Hygon 7500 series, or whatever, the 5th generation of their core, has SMT4
I still
and
think
AVX 512.
I still think it's a Zen 1 based design that's been modified.
I suspect they've reverse engineered it.
Yeah.
And they're building off of it now.
Do you remember? Oh, I was trying to click on the Anandtech link and it's gone. How dare you?
Oh no.
Do you remember this?
Yes, I do. This was so weird back when it was announced.
So this was a Hot Chips, I want to say 4 years ago.
31. I think it's 5 years ago now.
2019, so 6 years ago.
Jeez.
Right, so this is a system called Jintide. Came out of the Tsinghua University initially.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can find the right image, right? This is what the chip looked like. You had a Skylake die on one half, and then you had 2 custom chips, one of which did monitoring and the other one did other stuff, and then custom buffered memory. The idea being that this was their way of creating a China-specific Xeon SKU with all the security measures China wanted to put in. Right? So this chip is fabbed on 28 nanometer, the ITR, whatever that stood for again. Yeah, to trace peripheral communication. It has 136 PCIe Gen 3 lanes, and the smaller chip is essentially a monitor and control FPGA with MCUs on it. And we all thought, oh, that's pretty weird, because it also requires a custom socket design, because that's not a Skylake design. That's bigger than this is Xeon, whatever it was at the time. Now, this project was funded or picked up by a company called Montage. Montage not only makes CXL controllers, because Samsung uses them, or Samsung did for their 1st gen. I think they use their own now. If you look at Montage Jintide, they have 6th generation Jintide CPU built on E-cores. So
interesting.
You may notice that some of these numbers and some of the pluses and the H's and the Y's look very familiar. And so now you can get 144 E-core Jintide CPU. It's an x86. It's a design based on Intel's standard Xeon processor core because it uses their silicon. But then it uses, technologies for hardware security protection for local customers. This website's in English, by the way. It's not a convert from Chinese to English. So it might even be sold in the Middle East. But we go to one of these chip numbers, and it tells you the core count, tells you the power, tells you the memory, tells you the scalability. This one actually goes in LGA 4710.
Oh, so it is just standard socket.
This one is, yeah. But Montage could easily be one of the companies that when Intel says we want to allow companies to build chips with our x86 IP, if we design them for them, this would be perfect because Montage will also say, well, hey, we want all this control circuitry as well in the silicon.
Yep.
So it's, yeah, the fact that there isn't more stuff like this, or perhaps there is, but we just don't know.
I was going to say,
it.
So do you remember September of last year when the announcements with AWS and Intel happened?
Yep.
I suspect that that may be something similar to the vein of this, right?
So Intel's always done what they call semi-custom, which is, in their parlance, just means we turned back on some of the L3 cache that we turned off with lower core counts, or we binned it at a different frequency TDP for our customer. They do that with all the hyperscalers, right? There's also been talk of them designing stuff in that when it gets sold to a Google or an Amazon, other things get turned on, like security circuitry or an accelerator specifically that Google designed. It's in every Intel Xeon CPU, but it only gets turned on with certain clients because of certain firmware, that sort of thing. And it has what they call chicken bits to enable it. There's been rumors that Intel's done that forever. You obviously have to know how to look for it if you want to look at a die shot.
It wouldn't surprise me if they have R and will, I guess.
Yes.
Are the words I'm looking for. Have done that for customers like AWS, Azure, Google, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. But for China? I mean, okay, so Jintide does this thing and it's custom and it's mainly for the customers in that region. What if Cased did something, or Raytheon did something, or Lockheed Martin, or European Space Agency, or that sort of it's you do wonder.
Yeah.
But then imagine if you get the chip, it's in the same socket. You manage to buy a random thing off eBay. You put it in your server, and it says, standard Intel Xeon. You wouldn't know if anything was in there.
No, you wouldn't. Although I think we both know somebody that has one of these CPUs.
Oh, Brutus. Yeah. He does get his hands on some really interesting things.
Yes.
Going back to Lisuan.
Yeah. Back from the tangent.
So it's the whole thing here was that this was meant to be designed. This is meant to be promoted as a fully China's first fully domestically produced GPU, which is false if they're using Imagination IP, because Imagination is British, or whoever owns them now. I don't remember.
It's still Imagination.
So, yeah. If
well, kind of, because wait, actually, is it still Canyon Bridge? I think that's what they're called.
But yeah, so it depends whose IP they're using. If it's their own, fine, right? All power to them. It probably treads on a bunch of patents, which means it will never be sold outside of China, which is, more threads isn't available outside of China, realistically. You may find it in India or some other Southeast Asian countries. If they're using TSMC, we get into the debate of, is Taiwan China, or is it?
Okay, so Imagination is owned by Canyon Bridge Capital Partners, which is a
Chinese
venture
investment fund.
which is a Chinese investment firm. So arguably, this is Chinese developed in-house by China, by some definition of that.
So okay, you could, yeah, but then you'd call more threads the first. But then also, again, where is it manufactured? Do you know? In this instance, is Taiwan China, or is it Taiwan and West Taiwan, or is it China and East China? But if it's SMIC, then yeah, it is a domestically produced GPU. The amount of articles I saw write about this and not realize that more threads existed was too many. So.
Yep. So
Ron Black, isn't he part of the Blue Collar Comedy? No, that's Ron White. Yeah, so this is in the same way that we were curious about more threads, we'd be curious to get one of these. So if anybody from Lisuan is watching and knows how to get us one, do let us know. Because we will test.
Oh, and speaking, Mr. Vip just actually reminded me of something. And speaking of GPUs, apparently the dual B60 GPU has been spotted for sale at a third-party retailer, not a online shopping thing,
Right.
for $3,500.
That sounds like a price that's being driven by supply.
Yeah. Granted, they're also selling, I think, what was it, 4070s for $2,500. This place is not very reputable in terms of its price, but more so the fact that it's being sold as a item is interesting. It's like an independent.
I should put something up on my store that says 5090 $6,000. And if anybody buys it, I will go buy one and ship them. No, because they're not. Then they'll try and enact a return policy and send me rocks, and then try and claim it back on PayPal. Of course, that sounds silly. Yeah. Is there anything else in the Lisuan notes we need to cover?
I'm not thinking so.
It does have its own super sampling technology called NRSS. We don't know what exactly that is
who wants
yet.
to bet that's best? It's based off FSR.
Yeah. One thing it does, which is a major criticism against Nvidia, is it supports SRIOV, which enables it to be split into multiple GPUs.
So, okay. The hardware may support SRIOV, but is the driver worth a potato?
So
in terms of actually doing SRIOV.
So
that was the biggest thing about AMD GPUs, was that they were capable of SRIOV in theory, but the driver was just not. Like,
I want to highlight this. The 7G105, the one that we said was more workstation-y.
Mm-hmm.
Here it says 161080p, which I believe is video decode.
Yes.
Right. So maybe that's just a function of the more workstation-y type card. SRIOV support.
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I mean, dating that to a workstation card has been a segmentation method for years upon years.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes, we said 12 gigs and 24 gigs GDDR6. Based on the OpenCL performance, it was somewhere between a 4060 and a 5050 in performance. They showed 60 FPS or 70 FPS average at 1080p high in Black Myth Wukong. Let me see if I can find that image. And yeah, 80 FPS, 1080p, Tomb Raider, small Tomb Raider. Here's the OpenCL performance. I'm surprised they didn't put in an Antutu.
Yeah.
Steel Nomad, at least that's a more modern benchmark. It's a 4K one, 2256. But again, getting your driver to work just for Future Mark, that's nothing. It has to work for everything else. Oh, Firestrike here. It only got a score of 20,852. So 26,800 is what the CPU score, GPU score.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. Oh, they've all got goodie bags.
Yeah.
You see here, and coffee, obviously. If anybody's wondering what a tech briefing looks like on site, that's a pretty good example.
Yep.
I mean, bags can be hit and miss. Usually it's full of crap, unless there's like a GPU in it.
Those are always fun.
Yeah. And then in terms of other notes.
So yeah, this is scoring on average with a 4060, slightly below a 4060, sort of a 4070 notebook-ish in 3D Mark.
So discussion questions. Do you want one?
To test? Sure.
Would you use one?
No. Like actually daily? No.
What price would it have to come at to even be reasonable? 580 pricing? B580? Sorry, or whatever. I don't mean $580. No. Like 200 to 300.
I would say even less, because the driver stack is not gonna be very good.
None of your unless your software is OpenCL accelerated or Vulkan accelerated, like your video editing software, it's not going to run on anything you know.
For the Western market,
yeah,
$100 maybe.
Well, I mean, so for the Chinese market, they can target like the top 25 games.
For the Chinese market, sell it at. You could probably sell it at B580 prices and get away with it. Anything more than that.
So, based on the discussion we we're having earlier, Windows or Linux?
You're assuming it will work on Windows.
Well, the benchmarks they showed are Windows based.
Oh, so there is actually a Windows driver of some sort. Okay.
Well, they don't make 3D Mark for Linux.
Oh, that's
true. You can
true.
see the Windows taskbar.
Yep.
There.
You're right. You're right.
Granted, might have a Linux.
Fun fact. This S3 based GPU supports more APIs in Windows than this IMG card does.
Most of IMG's business isn't on Windows. I will tell you one chip that is said to be using IMG. The next Pixel phone.
Ah, yes. If you want to transition over the Boxers, because the Pixel phone is in here. So
okay, well let's move on to that then. I didn't see. This is the Pixel 10. So we don't do a rundown of random tech news or tech briefs because we're real men. We wear boxers, so we have tech boxes. And this is Pixel 10. So there was a leak. I think Windows Central had it. I've actually got a bunch of the documents. I need to take them out because they should have. Everybody shared this stuff around, but gave whoever it was who leaked it the benefit of the doubt and let them post it all first. But in that was the next 3 generations of Pixel information, of which Power VR being in the Pixel Tensor 6, I think.
Yes, because we're on G5 currently. G6 is coming up.
Yeah. So I think they also had G7 and G8 in the dock or something. I'll dig it out and maybe I'll do
or is it the
video on it.
G4? Maybe I'm thinking. Hold on. Too many numbers to keep track of on a daily basis.
Yeah.
The Pixel 9 has the G. Oh, it's sent to G4. G5 is what's coming out. My
Okay.
mistake.
I mean, this news is just will support magnetic charging based on a render from EV Leaks. Fantastic. I mean, fantastic
Yeah.
reporting here. I'm not too fussed about that. What I do want to do you want anything to add?
No, I was just going to sort of quickly go over number 2. Samsung has an interesting way of keeping the Exynos 2600 cooler.
So a normal chip. Well, this is over 2 chips, but a normal smartphone chip has a base die, and you put the memory on top. It's called POP. POP packaging. So when you see a smartphone SoC, no, that's Snapdragon X Elite. It's HCX. Oh, you can't see that one. Yeah, half of these aren't actually silicon, but and my system won't be able to focus anyway. But you get a little piece of silicon chip, and what you're actually seeing at the top is the DRAM, not the compute die. If you ever decide to open up and take the heatsink off. They don't actually have a picture with the. So the news is there's a new heat pass block to cool the processor, which is a copper heatsink. This is similar to heat spreaders that are typical in modern designs.
I mean, yeah. So
Heat spreaders, however, are added after the package has been assembled. The advantage is that this heat pass block is much cooler to the source of the heat. So are they bonding just a small, or are they, they bonding a small piece of copper? But are they doping, or are they putting a micron layer of? I need to go have a look at the source in this.
Yeah,
that's not saying anything. Source is in Korean, obviously. So let's.
So where's the patent? Where's the link to the patent? Presumably in English.
According to industry sources.
Oh.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So says nothing.
The heat pass block is integrated onto the processor alongside the memory.
So are they?
It doesn't say whether they're just sticking it on like a heatsink or whether they're bonding it with metal.
I don't know.
Their TSMC did some stuff way back about different ways to cool AI chips.
Yeah, but that's big. This is.
Yes, this is a lot
tiny.
smaller.
So
that's That's a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah. Okay. That was.
Okay, my choice this time.
Yeah. I think I know what you're gonna pull.
The world's highest capacity SSD is
Yep.
to be released or has been pre-announced. This is a general, we're launching a bunch of SSDs. So this is Micron with their new Micron G9 NAND. The industry's 9th generation 3D NAND node. That just means higher density and whatever. So introducing 3 drives, the 6950 SSD, the world's first PCIe Gen 6 SSD, okay, PCIe Gen 6. The 7600 SSD, which is Gen 5, but better performance, better quality of service, and better energy efficiency. So it's like a 2nd generation Gen 5 or 3rd generation Gen 5. The next is the 6600 Ion SSD, the world's first E3.S 122 terabyte data SSD. We've already seen 122 terabyte SSDs. We saw them at, I want to say, we saw one at, I saw some at OFC, I saw some at Computex.
Well, they've been around for a while now.
Who does Alan work for? Phison. Phison's had theirs in a U.2 form factor as well.
Yeah.
However, the upcoming 245 terabyte drive in a
Big
E3.S form factor.
That's the long ruler form factor, right?
No, S. So S is this one on the left.
Ah, okay. So
you're thinking, I think E1.L, which is the super long one.
Yeah. So sort of almost like 2.5 inch.
So Bjorn says it's probably not in the 3D E3.S form factor, but this is I'm just following on. I'm just making follow on comments.
Wait, zoom in on that image.
Hang on, let's
up at
see.
the top.
You can get 4.4 petabytes per 2U. Nice. Sorry, this one.
Yeah, I just zoomed in. It doesn't actually say anything.
No.
I was hoping that it said like. Oh, okay. So the the Micron 6600 Ion NVMe is only in the E3.S form factor. So it must be the E3.S form factor if it is in fact in that lineup of
look at your screen.
SSDs. Yes.
There's the U.2 version.
Oh.
In their official images.
You lied to me, Micron data sheet.
It might be coming later.
Oh, it's U.2, comma ES.3. Oh, yeah. Put that in small letters that my eyes can't read. Thanks, Micron.
Yeah. So going back here, the 122 terabyte are going to be shipping later this quarter in E3.S and U.2. The 245 terabyte version is planned to be available the first half of next year. And the reason why it comes up is because this week is FMS, which used to be the Flash Memory Summit.
And now it's the future of memory and storage.
Which is a terrible name.
Yeah.
But Micron are also showing off HBM4, SOCAM, and LPDDR. That should probably say 6 Micron. LPDDR5 memory. Yeah. So have the context changed? Maybe. Yeah. This came through, and yeah, what immediately hit me is 245 terabytes in a single drive.
Did you see the announcement of Toshiba? Toshiba having, what was it? Like 8 terabyte or 4 terabyte single NAND packages.
Right. With their latest generation.
Hey, that means that you can finally get bigger than, I don't have a 4 terabyte drive, but
Yeah.
this is a 1 terabyte. Yeah, 1 terabyte.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to get what?
So
16 terabytes?
So the thing is, I've highlighted here 2.4 petabytes in a 1U. What you have to calculate is how many wafers of NAND that is.
A lot.
Per drive.
A lot.
And how much does a wafer cost on leading edge memory node?
A lot.
A leading edge NAND, right? So if you need a lot of wafers for one drive,
people talk about the cost of a CPU in terms of dies. How much does one NAND package on this cost?
And then you have to stack 200 of them.
Well, no, you don't stack 200. Like there's
They're 200 layers per, or 50 layers per package, 4 packages stacked. But then we won't be aligned and on it's got a lot more wire bond.
It's crazy. Like the fact that this is commodity.
Yeah.
Insanity where technology's gotten us.
Next in boxes. This is interesting. More Strix Halo.
Yeah. Can't get enough of Strix Halo, apparently. Actually, the prices on these are pretty good. The arguably actually better than the framework. To get the max, the 395 version is $2,000 with 128 gigabytes of RAM and 1 terabyte of storage. And then if you want the extra, if you want 4 terabytes, actually $300 for the 4 terabytes isn't terrible, but honestly, you could go.
I'm pretty sure
and chuck it in.
I think I'm pretty sure $2,000 was for the max 395 plus 128 plus 1 terabyte.
Yes, and then it's an extra 300 for the 4 terabytes, bringing it up.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that was the framework pricing as well.
Yes, but there's a bit more to it because you have to add like the front things and then all the additions and whatnot.
No, you don't.
I thought you did.
Don't have to.
No, but like you.
Yeah. Do we have a date?
I think they're available now.
In the US.
I mean, you could always do what you always do and just ship it to my address. And I'll just hand it off to you at Hot Chips.
I still don't have an update for when my framework's being shipped. Again, nobody's reached out to ask if I wanted a sample. So, but it looks like they've licensed the design to a Lenovo subsidiary for China.
I'm unshocked.
So, available now.
Oh, okay. So a little bit of a caveat on that 4 terabyte setup.
It's 2 plus 2.
It's 2 plus 2 and a RAID 0.
Yeah, okay. We don't have that URL. We don't have that PC in the UK. Typical.
Oh.
It is in the US though. And you can add to cart. Currently on back order, but ships in second week of September. So 6 weeks.
Not bad. I know AMD has gotten a lot of requests for Strix Halo, so they've been trying to ramp production.
We told them. We told them.
Yeah.
So next up, this is from South China Morning Post. Speaking of security and stuff, China's cyberspace regulator summons Nvidia to explain H20 chips backdoor risks. The Cyberspace Administration, of China says it has interviewed Nvidia over risks associated with the potential tracking functions of the chips. Get out of the way, ads. And you need access. But yeah, the CAC's, yes. I don't know any of those. The CAC said its inquiry was based on recent reports of serious security issues involving Nvidia's chips. Now, is that chips or is that software? Because I could fully believe tracking software. I mean, that's what Nvidia's thing is.
Yeah.
The suite that you have to download with the drivers that I don't download. The hardware, though, because there was talk about the hardware having some sort of tracking put into it as part of the US security measures, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the H20s aren't that. Then again, does everybody still remember what happened with Supermicro? Or what didn't happen specifically?
Yeah.
It's was it Bloomberg did 2 big exposés about how tracking chips were being put into Supermicro motherboards.
Mm-hmm.
And they interviewed 15 people with some intimate knowledge of the matter. And it turns out that in order to do what they said it would have to do, you would be able to noticeably detect anything. They're saying, oh, these chips are the size of a grain of rice. In order to have networking functionality, you need more than 0.1 square mil of silicon. And you can detect 0.1 square mil of silicon using your external Ethernet bus. You can track the data going in and out of it. You can track the power consumption. It's now, were there security issues at Supermicro manufacturing facilities? Maybe, but not the sort of security issues where you could put in a reel of custom chips and change the design on the fly.
Yeah. No.
It'd be easier. It'd be easier to use cyber attacks to get into one of Supermicro's developer systems and actually edit a PCB design that somebody was editing such that it also passed the final tests when it went to the factory. Do you know how difficult that is?
Yeah.
So
yeah, no.
And also Supermicro is making none of the silicon on it. Supermicro is a system integrator. They integrate things. They don't build the silicon.
No.
Now, does that stop them using an inductor made by somebody nefarious? No. Does that inductor have access to any of the data lines? No. Do most companies spec out their inductors when they buy a $10 million worth of Supermicro systems? Probably. Right? All of Colossus, XAI's big supercomputer for AI, that was all spec'd out by them. Supermicro went and built it.
I don't remember. So speaking, not quite security issues, supply chain issues. Oh, remember the what was it? The American misspelling of to trans.
Megatrans, yes.
Yes, that whole stuff and that sort of supply chain concern. That is a concern, but that is not a fundamental security issue within the chip.
We've covered this before on the Poutine, I think, but this is from our good friend Patrick Kennedy over at Serve the Home. This sticker says Mega Trans. The company is Mega Trends. So replace the A with an E. And you're like, why is a sticker with the spelling mistake get into my super expensive Switch? And here, this A Speed is a BMC controller, baseband management controller. Yeah, this would be like buying a Dell notebook and getting a Microsoft Windows license sticker on it. And what happened is, Patrick didn't see this, but on a video, somebody said, hey, that sticker's spelled incorrectly. And he's like, wait, what? That can't be right. There's quality control on this stuff. Then he went back through some other switches and other photos he took and then realized, oh, this sticker of this switch we did several months ago also says Mega Trans. So he did the full thing that you do with a standard CVE. Got in contact, said, "Here's the issue. I'm going to publicize this issue in 3 months or whatever. If you don't respond," and they said, "We'll get back to you." And it went through. So Dell was a switch manufacturer, and then AMI, American Mega Trends, is the company. So you're thinking, well, if this sticker's on an A Speed, on a BMC, what else is compromised?
Yeah.
If a company can't even spell its own freaking name right. It turns out the company can't spell its freaking name right.
Yeah, it was a QC issue, but the fact that slipped through every single level of QC is the issue.
Now, don't get me wrong, this switch is probably made, and the stickers are all made, and the software is all made in China. Are they going to spot a spelling mistake in English of a company that the people actually putting the system together have never heard of? Probably not.
I actually think that the Dell EMC networking is actually the expensive stuff, which is actually what is being talked about here. It's actually made here in the US.
Well,
or at least packaged here in the US.
Are the people building it going to know who American Megatrends are? Probably not.
No, but yeah.
Yeah, so this is from an international reseller as well. The long and short of it, the response Patrick got was, "Oh well, we've bought the stickers now."
No. Depressing.
In bad company name news, where is it? Why is it showing me my posts from 2020?
Davina, me fail English? That's impossible. Yes.
Well, use many word when few word do trick, that sort of thing.
Exactly.
This. Yes, go away. I posted this yesterday. Did you see this?
Yes, I saw that, and
so
I was laughing really hard.
So Asian companies have this problem where they have a PR team, they have a communications team, they have a product naming group of people. It might be like a team of 5 people, all aged between 25 and 40. The thing is, when it comes to Western names, they tend to lean heavily on the one person who did a transfer year studying abroad when they were 19. So when this Taiwanese person gets back into the office, they've now been working for 10 years, and they say, "Oh, this is the Chinese name. We need a Western name." And they rely on that one person who's done a year when they were studying to fully understand the cultural integration and spelling and understanding. And I know this because this has happened more than a handful of times with these companies. And I've sat there and I've sat them down and I said, look, this is what this name means in English, or this is what these series of letters sound like in English. You're pronouncing it wrong. Just in the same way that we can't pronounce Lisuan
Yes.
properly.
Yeah.
To call your product the Rim Book.
Yeah, colorful.
If you put that into your Google search engine, you're going to end up with Linux.
Yeah, that the colorful rim book may now be banned in the UK as a search term.
As a search term. Sorry. The fact that it's called it only just occurred to me. It's called the colorful rim book.
Yeah, yeah, it's a colorful rim book.
So now we did have research in motion. The BlackBerry, the original BlackBerry manufacturer, which is Rim by another name, Rim by another nature.
Yeah.
I mean, they've certainly got the problem licked. Let's put it that way.
So Lewis, you're saying that they probably meant Limbook? No, because the Rim Book series is inspired by the rim of a wheel. The Rim Book symbolizes continuous motion.
Continuous bullshit. And the thing is, the rim of a wheel for something that's a rectangle.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be Limbook. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to pronounce colorful, because he's saying the L's and the R's. So the L and the R thing is very much a Japanese issue. The Chinese don't have that much of an issue with the It comes in wood paneling.
I was about to say, at least it's not brown.
Yes.
Or green.
Easily my best tweet of July.
Max just going, oh.
And
Angel going,
yes. Another thing. Random tech boxer thing. Nick Light, the person who was in charge of Linus Media Group's Creator Warehouse, has left the company.
Oh.
He announced, after 11 years.
Wow.
It sounds cordial. Because of that, but it is. Yes, and Asus is so there is an ad, and the last time I showed a video on YouTube, I had to take it out because it got flagged. But if you search for the Asus ad, you need to now provide ID for verification if you're in the UK.
That's funny.
Because it's all about Linux on Asus. And as GreenProtagonist says, you got a repairing, Bob. Yes, it's a Rimbook job.
This podcast is now banned in the UK, and you must be age verified to watch it.
Yeah. And to be honest, right, in the UK, okay, mini rant time, and the people from the UK will know this. We have this thing called the watershed, right? It's the time in which beforehand you can't broadcast 18+ content online, right? After the watershed, the watershed is like 9 or 10 p.m. You can now talk about adult themes, including sexual health, including addiction, including Linux. Though the amount of channels that actually show Linux day to day is incredibly small, and you need cable. But none of that needs age verification to find out who's holding the remote. And the watershed is a time. It's not a verification, right? Imagine as an adult, you had to verify your age every time to watch TV beyond 9 p.m. Every day, because they've got to know who you are. It's insane, right? So yeah, it's and if my child watches TV beyond 9 p.m., am I suddenly now breaking the law is, I mean, we already had protections. It's called, are you over the age? Press yes to enter, press no to go back to where you come from. Right? Oh yeah. As Dom said, there's a show on Channel 4 called Skins. It's a drama series where they talk about sexual health and Linux a lot. We also have used to have a TV show called Naked Attraction.
Oh yeah,
is that still on, Dom?
I've heard of it. I think.
Well, the whole point is, here's a bunch of people who can't get dates, so we're going to slowly show other naked people, from the ground up. We're not going to show any of the Linux-related parts on the TV, but we're going to talk about them in graphic detail. So you now need to verify your age. Netflix.
Yeah.
Or yeah, no, we used to have a TV show called Eurotrash that showed bits as well. It's again, going back to that topic, it's just there's just so much crap around it.
So I guess, yeah, I was about to. Moving on from Linux, well, moving into different Linux, the different Linux regime. A article
AMD?
from, our good friend from CRN, Dylan Martin, just wrote, AMD, we're exploring a discrete GPU alternative for PCs. They're looking into discrete NPUs, to the shock of absolutely nobody around.
We already have this. It's called an M.2 module. You can now get M.2. Well, Intel had an M.2 module with their NPU that they only sold to the edge market. But there are other AI startups now with M.2 modules of AI on. I don't mind sticking an M.2 module into my PC for a bit of AI acceleration, a coprocessor. But so this line. So Rahul, who I know, and we always have really good conversations, made the comments as OEMs like Lenovo, Dell, and HP start to explore discrete NPUs and other kinds of dedicated accelerator chips as alternative to GPUs and PCs for AI workloads. For instance, Dell last month announced it would use an NPU-based Qualcomm AI 100 inference card inside a new Dell Pro Max. I didn't hear that.
I did. I think I talked about it on Tech Poutine.
So that's the AI 100. That's the 5-year-old chip.
Yes. And they're putting 2 of them in a laptop.
Okay. Yeah. So when AMD would introduce such a product, he said he can't talk about the future roadmap. That's why you don't ask those sorts of questions. You ask, what's the feasible timeline in which this could be developed? Not, when are you introducing it? Right? Because then you're talking about the development life cycle of a product, not this particular product.
Yeah.
And yeah, one thing that Intel is going for it, now that it's in the process of spinning off Altera, is that it only has 2 AI IPs. XE, well, 3. NPU, XE, and Gaudi. Right? AMD has GPU and Xilinx. Xilinx is in the NPU, but it's still slightly different to the FPGA stuff. But yeah, how many M.2 slots are now in a modern motherboard? 3?
Arguably
minimum?
too many.
I would argue not enough, but that's just me.
I would argue. Give me Slim Sass and let me have U.2s.
I would say give me Slim Sass if they could actually unify the freaking connector.
Yeah, that's fair. I knew where you were going with that. That's fair.
There are too many SFF 86 XX
Yes.
connectors. Some of them being freaking unidirectional.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't, yeah. So do you get the 4-into-1 or the 1-to-4? It's a pain. But yeah, it's I mean, I think I've got, I want to say 7 M.2 SSDs in my system now, and I could always put more in. I mean, just fill up those 4-way cards. Bang, 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 bang. They get used. But yeah. So NPUs on M.2 should have been done years ago. Easiest development platform for the masses.
Yep. Well, I mean, also, Bjorn says in the chat, AMD should rather go for a Strix Halo V2 with higher memory bandwidth and more memory support. I mean, yeah, that's very likely. Considering how well Strix Halo has been selling, yes, I guarantee you that they're making a V2. Like,
I do wonder what the margin is on it, and whether it's above or below corporate average. Because it's chiplet, simple packaging, not overly advanced packaging. Add in, I guess they don't bundle the LPDDR with it. That's up to the So, like a desktop, but then 16 core with 20 CUs. Is it 20? Is it 40?
It's 40 CUs, 20 WGPs.
Okay, 40 CUs. That would have to be, if that was to retail on its own as a socketed chip, that would easily be 600. More than
that, yeah.
Yeah.
But
which would make it one of the most expensive notebook chips they make.
I mean, yeah, but it's also a product that's going into $4,000 laptops. HP, I'm looking at you.
The one $4,000
well, yeah,
laptop.
but or even $2,000. Like,
yeah,
let's say it costs AMD $300 to make, and they're selling it at $600. That's still 50% margin.
To be honest, it's probably cheaper than that.
Yeah, I'm giving you an absolute worst case scenario on that.
It's probably $100 max.
Yeah. So yeah, they're absolutely going to make a V2, a V3, a V4 with more advanced IP and whatnot. Like,
yeah.
Also, Bjorn, no, it's not 96 gigs of RAM. That's
regular Strix.
No. He's saying it's not 90. So remember how memory allocation works on APUs?
Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's not 96 gigs of VRAM. It's actually 112. The 96 is it's essentially you telling the system, hey, I just want you to allocate the GPU has 96 gigs of RAM for the GPU. And then there's 32 gigs left for the rest of the system. But in every OS,
you can
Linux,
take half of that.
Windows, you take half of that, and that can still yet be allocated back to the GPU as well. So it's actually 112 gigs that you can allocate
It's not spillover. It's direct allocations. Just some is firmware, some is some is firmware, some is software.
Yeah, but no, it's basically. I guess you can phrase it like that. It's a bit different, but that's a big misunderstanding. Also, all AMD APUs ever are unified memory. All Intel CPUs with graphics up until Meteor Lake are unified. Well, no, even all of them are unified memory.
Yeah,
it's
is
all UMA. Like, not just Apple has UMA. Please stop saying that. That's factually incorrect. And it's a big bugbear of mine. Can you tell I've had this conversation a dozen times, and I still can't get it through people's heads that not just Apple has unified memory access.
Yeah. Huh. Well, that's pretty much we had under tech briefs. George can now breathe. Still really peeved off about the Online Safety Act. Just in general, it's so freaking annoying. Yeah, definitely want to look at the Lisuan GPU. Yeah, they're both on the whatever tone that is. So it's I've actually just changed my laptop to Arrow Lake because my Strix system was having a memory issue. If I had time, I'd go run mem test on it and see what's happening. I just don't have that time, so it was easier just to move to a new system, and that's working fine. Aside from the fact that my Google Drive somehow revoked all the login certificates.
Oh God!
Across all my systems.
Oh no!
So
that's doubly bad because you don't have particularly high speed internet, do you? Oh no!
So Tech Potato as a channel has something like 8 terabytes of stuff in our storage to date, and I tend to keep most of it local, or at least all the general stuff, all the event stuff, and the videos I'm working on. And right now we're going through AI Hardware Show Season 2. Now, yes, we do use proxies and whatever, but it still means that I need to download everything to local. But my internet is only 80 megabits per second down.
So it's 10 megabytes per second.
Yeah.
So that's 100 seconds for about a gigabyte.
The studio I sometimes rent in East London, the one that I'm going to on Monday, has gigabit symmetric. I will get my laptop synced there because a minute there is worth an hour. An hour at home is a minute there.
Yeah.
And we've got the studio booked, I think, for 7 hours. So I'll easily get as much as I can down. My system at home, my big workstation, it's been about a week, 5 days, and I've still got 70,000 files to go.
Oof.
And Google Drive doesn't let you prioritize or doesn't let you order. If you need to access something, it will put that to the top of the queue, but there's no guarantee it will keep it in the storage when it's done. It's an 8-year-old technology.
Yeah.
That just hasn't been updated to the modern admin user.
Actually, so speaking of workstation, AMD launched Threadripper 9000 and Threadripper Pro 9000.
Yep.
And real quick, I was offered a 9970X and 9980X, and I was like, what need do I have of it? Because I have Turret already.
Because you want to do the same content that everybody else does.
No.
Or you want to be like one YouTuber who compared it to the Ultra 9 285K.
Oh my God, that pissed me off because did you see that they compared it? So they okay. To anyone benchmark, do not use first-party numbers unless you caveat it with these are first-party numbers because we do not have X platform. Do not put it in your thumbnail saying X% faster than product you do not have and did not test.
For a product review rather than a article about an announcement.
Yes.
If you're reviewing a chip, use first-party numbers as a guide.
Yeah.
If you're going to use first-party numbers in a graph, or whatever, or a slide, highlight it as fact. If you put it in your thumbnail, don't clarify that it's the first party number, and goad people into thinking that you are doing a full analysis of the chip against its contemporary from the other side of the aisle.
Yeah. No, you don't do that.
Epic fail. And if the argument is, well, we couldn't get hold of that chip,
then you don't talk about it.
Then you choose a different number, or you pivot it or you position it in a different way. Like, we tested the chip and it's awesome, and the but is we couldn't compare it to the competition, so we don't know how awesome it is. And or if your argument is, well, we don't care,
it's stupid.
Yeah, it's throwing your reputation
for no good reason.
It's, I mean, do they still have that?
Probably, because they were defending it on Twitter.
Yeah. If they don't, one thing we know those guys to do, it's stand their ground regardless.
Yeah.
But I mean,
yep, it's still that thumbnail.
Yeah. It's the
journalistic malpractice, may I say, in my opinion.
Again, well, this comes back to the Linus argument. Are they journalists?
Yes, dang it. You are purporting to be speaking the truth to your audience. You are, in my opinion, journalists and somebody with a level of trust that should be upheld to a higher standard than some rando on the internet.
You are purporting to provide independent third-party analysis and refuse to speak to engineers lest they lie to you.
Which is beyond... I could rant for days about this.
It feels like religious people who want to bung up their ears if you start speaking about a different religion.
Yeah, it's
la, la,
rules
la, la,
for
la,
thee, not for me.
No, it's la la la. I don't want to hear what you have to say in case you affect my judgment.
Which,
as in, my judgment is so flaky it could be swayed by what you say. That just means that you don't have strong enough convictions.
Yeah, it's...
I mean, from a religious sense, you can argue about bias affecting...
No, in this case, no, because they won't speak to engineers. And it's insane to me, because they think that marketing and engineers are the same people. They aren't.
Now, are some engineers very PR trained? Yes.
Yes.
But the skill is...
being a perfect example. But you know what? You can still get information about stuff out of him.
And the skill is understanding what's PR and what's valuable.
Yeah.
And if you don't exercise the skill, you'll never improve
figure it out. This is what makes me just go utterly insane. Is just...
Yeah.
It's almost as if they don't want to improve because they already think that they are perfect. And that is never, ever, ever the case. There is always room for improvement.
Yeah.
And it's insane to think that you're perfect.
There's there's a few people like that. They tend to be either orange or billionaires or incels.
Still have a little bit of coffee left, Dom.
It's the morning. If George has got a report to write this afternoon, it's going to be very spicy.
Yeah.
Just don't turn it into Linux.
Yeah.
It's not that spicy.
Revenge Linux.
But I mean, it's. I mean, comparison platforms. I can't remember if I got the W series, the Xeon Ws as samples. They might be here somewhere. I know I never got a motherboard. I may have got, that may have been a generation where I got the chips, but I didn't have time to organize a motherboard.
Well, I will say Intel sampling is
I was actually discussing this on the Chips and Cheese Discord. In Intel's enterprise / workstation sampling is very independent to the rest of Intel sampling.
Well, no, even regular Intel sampling. Like, so we got sampled for Arrow Lake. We got sampled the CPUs, but we didn't get the motherboard. And this was a brand new generation.
Intel very rarely does a full package. They have done.
Why?
But when they do that, it's usually in partnership with one of the motherboard vendors. So it's either I think one of my earliest videos I was unboxing the MSI Z390 or whatever it was, that generation, because I actually just gave the box to Dom, the big metal box, if you remember, Dom. And yeah, that was in partnership. So MSI essentially, as part of that sampling, did the package, and Intel provided CPUs. MSI sorted everything else: motherboard, memory, CPU cooler. There may have been a power supply in there as well, SSD. And one year it may be MSI, the next year it may be Asus. AMD has a different tack. They just say, we validated this chip at launch on these 5 motherboards or 4 motherboards. You know, Gigabyte sent us 50, Asus has sent us 200, MSI sent us 150, ASRock sent us 150, and they just play mix and match. They send one motherboard here, one motherboard there. Sometimes it's regional, as in the regions have to fend for themselves. They just get the CPUs and they have to work with it. But also AMD mid-gen updates. Their argument is, we want to know the motherboard is working for the chip. Intel's argument is the motherboard should already work.
Yeah.
And we know that's never the full case sometimes.
Yeah, well, that's like AMD said for the 9950 review. They said X870, the Crosshair Hero X870E board for, and then with the 9950X, they said or X3D, they said the MSI X870E Carbon Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
right.
So,
they said board, RAM, and SSD.
I got the ASRock Tai Chi.
Yeah, but they basically said you everything you need other than power supply and cooler.
Both times.
Oh, nice.
So I got 2 of them.
Yeah, no, but like they basically said you everything you need other than power supply and cooler.
Yeah,
which I prefer as the
and to be honest, that's a, you know, even with AM4, as AM4 was dying, they were still sending out motherboards because it was validated on.
Yeah,
so,
like
yeah, there's sometimes and you know it's I remember Sandy Bridge E, that high-end desktop platform. They sent out 1,000 processors globally for that launch for review. It got leaked immediately.
Yeah,
they were so pissed off that because this is when it was under CCG
NDA.
properly. So the next Ivy Bridge E, I think they sampled 25 worldwide. And then the feedback was, even though nobody broke NDA, we didn't get enough coverage. So for the next generation, which is what Haswell, I think they went back up to 200 or so. But they got really burnt with the Sandy Bridge E distribution. I mean, obviously, all the people involved in that are elsewhere now.
Yeah.
And there is I mean, it's weird, right? I spent more than a decade hands deep in that stuff. And now I spend most of my days talking about stuff at a much higher level, you know, from concept to business use case, not really, is this 2% higher in Cinebench, which is what I used to do day to day, right? Testing stuff now, I barely have time to do it. If I worked in an office and had a team, then yeah, that may, yeah, there's a reason why Linus isn't the person going around testing everything himself. But there's also a reason why, you know, teams of 2 or 3 who do all the testing themselves aren't speaking at a higher level, aren't speaking at a business or a industry level about where the industry is going, because they're too busy looking at the bits and pieces from the consumer perspective. It swings and roundabouts, all sorts of content work. But yeah, I don't think I got offered any for sampling. Analyst sampling is a bit weird compared to press sampling.
Well,
like,
you still have that Turin server just sitting there.
No, it's there. It's definitely here. But it's so most analysts don't test, or if they do, it's one very specific thing. Like you know, Anshul tests some smartphones and some XR. We know Max Weinbach at Creative Strategies, he tests a bunch of Apple stuff. So you'll end up with some people who do very specific testing, but by and large, most analysts don't. So the analyst team may get 2 samples globally, right? And sometimes they're available at launch. I can't remember what chip I got. The analyst team said 6 weeks after launch. Oh, Ian, do you want one? It definitely is in the UK. It's the year of desktop Linux. And with that, I think we'll call it a day, actually.
Yeah.
We're going just shy of 3 hours. Let's get the thing up here. Unless anybody has some burning question last minute.
I think we basically covered all the...
Yeah. Okay, cool. And with that, let's call it a wrap. Many thanks to all of you who have been here from start to finish for yet another one of our tech routines. We really appreciate your support, and it helps us to continue to do what we love to do. We hope you like us talk, and we hope you like talking about chips as well. All our links you can find online just by Googling either one of us. And there's also Twitter and Discord and our written content. But it's a goodbye from me, goodbye from George.
And goodbye from me.
And we'll catch you on the next one.
Have a good one, folks.
If you like this content, there are multiple ways to support the channel. You can like and subscribe this video, and many thanks for doing so. There's also Patreon, which gives you access to our Discord. There's a merchandise store and a newsletter, links in the description. For all of you who do contribute, thank you. You are keeping me well fed.